guys, so during my deliberation of which palette I was going to choose to do for Pan That Palette this year, I had the initial idea of using my Dior shadows. Last year I had depotted all my Estee Lauder shadows into a big palette and worked on them until I couldn't force myself to any longer, and when I'd initially done that I thought, oh, I will do Estee Lauder this year, and next year I'll do all my Dior shadows. And after the Estee Lauder thing being such a belly flop, I was heavily rethinking using Dior shadows as my Pan That palettes. And then when I was preparing for the Pan As Old As Time, I was thinking about my oldest palettes, and some of my Dior Quints are some of my oldest palettes. And while I enjoy working on my MAC shadows, I do want to sort of give my other eyeshadows a bit of love. I had thought of slipping a few singles into my makeup basket each month, but I also want to kind of work on my small palettes as well. So I've actually pulled them all out here. I have all my Dior palettes and 2 Lancome palettes. So the idea is that each month for my makeup basket I will pull out a quint that I will use at least once a week during that month's makeup usage. Not necessarily sticking solely to the quint palette. I could work in some of my MAC shadows if I so choose, but it's just so that my quints can get a bit of use and I can get a bit of experience with them and find out if they're something that I like, something if I want to hold on to, if the shadows have gone bad, things like that. So I'm just going to quickly run through the palettes that I have here. I have 10 altogether, 8 Dior and 2 Lancome. So this first Lancome palette is the Brun Au Naturel. This is quite a warm-toned quint. And the amount of shadows that are in the Lancome palettes is very, very small indeed. There's 4.3 grams in this whole thing. You could easily finish one of these in a year if you wanted to, especially with like little liner shades like this guy. Like that is a tiny pan of eyeshadow. And then we have the Terre d'Ivoire, which is one I've had the longest out of the two, and I have a nice little dip going on in the shadow already. So yeah, I'm gonna work on those two guys. And then for the Dior shades, we have Fairy Golds, which was a Christmas launch. And you'll notice a trend with the Dior shadows, and this is another reason why I didn't pick them for another reason why I let go of the idea of depotting them all to do a Pan That palette collectively, is because there are so many shimmery white shades. Almost every single one of these palettes has a shimmery white shade. There are very few that don't, or they have a shimmery taupe shade. That's another thing. So that's Fairy Golds. This is Amber Design. As you can see, they have 2 shimmery light shades there. This is Pied de Poulet, or Pied de Poule again. You have your shimmery white. This one also has a nice matte black though, which kind of compensates. This is Amber Nuit. Again, you have your shimmery pinky white shade in the middle there, and a slightly shimmery taupey brown. This is Earth Reflection. And this one you have 3 light shimmery colours and a shimmery taupe. That's another thing with your palette, you don't get an awful lot of mattes in them. This is Rosy Tan, which again has 2 shimmery light shades and a shimmery goldeny brown there. It's almost a taupe, but it's a little bit too warm to be a taupe. This is Cure Canage, which is a rarity as far as I've seen in Dior. This is an almost all matte palette. It doesn't really have shimmers in it. This one is slightly shimmery, but they're more of like a satin sheeny finish. And then lastly we have Hypnotize, which again has your shimmery taupe in there. But yeah, I'm going to pick one palette each month. don't know whether to start with my newest ones or my oldest ones. I really don't know. I'm going to start with Earth's Reflection because it was the first Dior palette that I ever purchased, and it's full of like nice light shiny shades. I'm very much into the like shimmery inner corner highlight, so even if I don't manage to create a whole look with this palette, which I know I won't, I will still be able to work those sheeny colours into like my everyday sort of pan that palette looks, and do something special with the taupe and the cool tone brown that's in there. So yeah, I'm going to use this guy this month, and when I do my next 1 month 1 palette update, I will let you know how I got on with it and select my next palette. So I will quickly swatch these for you so you can see what I'm working with. So I'm going to swatch this colour here, and that is like a shiny taupe. This is a shimmery white shade. That was this guy here. Next I have a dark cool toned brown, which again is quite shimmery. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Next we have this gold shade, which I suppose would be a nice lid colour, possibly. Can you even see it? It's a bit too sheeny. And then lastly we have the shimmery pink in the middle there. So we'll see what I can do with them. See what I can make happen. If you'd like to see like a get ready with me with how I work these in, let me know. I might actually do that as a sort of, as a format when I'm doing my Pan That Palette updates. Not Pan That Palette. When I do my 1 month 1 palette updates, I might insert some footage of like a get ready with me of how I used the palette in the previous month. Yeah, and we'll see how I get on with it. So let me know what you think of this whole process, this whole idea, and I will see you in my next update. Thank you so much for watching, and bye bye.